an energetic crowd. Couldn't have a better atmosphere for the start of the season. It's the Utes, it's the Sioux Falls Cougars. We're at the Huntsman Center. Nowhere else we'd rather be.
Nowhere else. What I want to see this afternoon is the passion, effort, energy, and communication, because that has to be the foundation for this new team's growth.
Wilkie, deep in the corner in this first possession, goes inside to Otto. She gets the loose ball, puts it up, she's fouled, she'll shoot two. And when you talk about what has happened during the offseason, getting used to and getting ready for the year, Evelina Otto, the freshman from Latvia, has really been turning heads.
She has. I think she's been a nice surprise for Coach Gavin, and I saw a little bit of it right there. Just what she brings is a strength and actually a real understanding of the game. So when she gets behind the defense, she's talking to the team from behind, and that's going to be a real good and big need for this young team.
One interesting thing, there's certain players that you use the phrase nose for the ball. Well, it feels like if the ball's in the air, she's going to get it.
She's going to go seek the basketball, and with her strength, that's going to be a good thing.
Some pressure for Utah defensively on this first Cougars possession, and a near turnover, but a sideline pass, and a three-point shot on the way, and good. Beautifully done on that jumper by Anna Vala. Makes it 3-1. Here's Utah's starting five. In the corner, Lonnie White for three. He's unable to answer. Now the rebound was grabbed by Alexis Rose.
Well,
Rose, a pull-up three.
Yes, indeed. I know that Sioux Falls is interested in pushing it and taking that first open three, and you saw them right off the first transition, and they made that happen.
The Utah Utes, a team with 4 1,000-point scorers last year, a ton of experience, a ton of accolades with that group. And Wilkie with the follow-up, and the first field goal for Utah makes it 3-3. Here's the starting five for Sioux Falls. You mentioned their youth, but their experience. Coach Trapphagen with some high expectations for this group. He feels like in year two, they're going to do a much better job, a number of players, at making things automatic with instincts, but also doing everything with intention and purpose. Brooke Walker brings the ball up the court. A player that put so much time and effort in the offseason to be the starting point guard of this team. Maddie Wilkie, a dead-eye shooter, and with that kind of space, it's almost automatic.
Well, there we go. That's the point guard to your best shooter early in the possession, and Maddie finished.
Shot 42% from three last year. As an answer on the other end is good from Cammie Wadsworth. Ross drives into the paint. Here's another three on the way. This one's no good from Wilkie. Many times with Utah basketball last season, when they were able to get great looks, it was what was taking place away from the ball that opened that up. There's a drive from Wadsworth. Left that short. Ella Todd the rebound. Or excuse me, Evelina Otto the rebound.
Wadsworth's going to be a key for them. She really can score anywhere on the floor as a five player, and that'll be a good test for Utah defensively.
Ross on the drive, strong take, and the South Dakota kid with her first field goal against a number of players she's played against.
Reese is going to be the one that's got to score. If not the primary scorer, she has got to be one of the top three scorers for this squad.
A good look three from Vollers off left. Wilkie the rebound. Utah up 8-5 early on. Lonnie White, who's made her return to Utah. There's a good look three. That's just off the mark, and a loose ball foul is going to be called against the Utes. It's on Wilkie.
That's a great in-out look. I'd like to see Evelina hold on to it just a bit longer to get somebody to get another step off Lonnie.
Reese Ross brings a drive and a passion and an energy that is as big as any player out there. You saw it last year when she was coming off the bench. She would usually have an immediate impact in a game.
She did, and she will again.
Pinned underneath, but creating an opportunity was Wadsworth. All over her defensively, Evelina Otto.
Really good over you, through you defense by Eva. She's just there, she's bodying up, she's making herself as tall as she can, staying off the foul, and there's the miss.
Otto's 6'2". When you watch her in person, which we've had the chance to do, she plays bigger than she is. And a foul away from the ball against Sioux Falls.
She will be undersized at the highest level, so her strength and her smarts are going to be quite important.
You can tell with her it's about inches and instincts. Otto, the 2024 Latvian U18 European Championship member of the Division A team. Wilkie goes inside to Otto on the block, seals and deals. 10-5 Utah.
It's a great seal. She got herself positioned, held it on the catch, drop step, easy two.
Jumper on the way in, good from Cammie Wadsworth. Coach Trapphagen talked a lot about her face-up game.
Yeah, she just showed she really can and will and can shoot anywhere on the floor, and that little back pivot shot for her is a little tougher for bigger posts to defend.
Walker slithers inside.
That's nice to see for Brooke.
Brooke Walker, who averaged 10 minutes a game during her freshman year. But you could see her work on the floor and in practice. She truly prides herself on being the best player for her team, not just the best player on her team. That shot is left short. Reese Ross the board. Walker talked a lot about how personal it was for her to take responsibility for her group and to lead at the point guard position. What do you want to see from her and anybody who's in that point guard role as that continues to be up in the air?
Yeah, Brooke really is going to have to take charge of the flow of the offense first and foremost, get a feel for that, make those things happen, make sure the ball doesn't get stuck, make sure that she's finding hot players. That was a really nice feed ahead in transition and gave Lonnie a nice look on the three-point line. Walker with a nice deflection, a held ball. It'll be Sioux Falls ball when we return. Utah by 5. Right behind her she actually was a high scorer in their exhibition game, so that was a great scenario for them as well. Kyra is going to be a new post kid that gives them real size. That's extremely important. And obviously the transition of Brooke to the point guard will be a big impact for this team. And you see Samantha Crisp there, player with nice touch on the outside jumper, transfer from Boston, and senior out of Castle Pines, Colorado. A ton of work with the front court, a lot of work with bench players becoming key starters. And it's going to be interesting to watch what this team looks like in November compared to February. Was fouled on that jump shot was Danny Minsauce. And she'll go to the line to shoot two. Well, it was a bit of a mismatch for us inside with LA, and I think just being undersized and getting the hand up in a place that was put her at risk. I'm afraid that put her to the line. Junior out of Chile, Wisconsin. It's the first. We have our first look at L.A. Sneed. Mention her. Boy, they are excited about her future. 5-star recruit, ranked number 27 on the ESPN 100. It's going to be fun to see LA's progress. She really does provide a 3-level scorer for Utah. They have not had that in the past. Once Gianna left, she just needs to, get beyond the freshman status, which means for her just to take command and have a real presence out there. It can vary between a number of different players. As there's a 3 on the way and no good from Jelmstad. Loose ball on the ground. There's Reese Ross trying to fight for it. It goes out of bounds, and it will go to Utah. I love that they came out of the timeout, with the special. They got the ball to their shooter off a flare screen, and she's gonna make those. That's the gal I would want to set it up to as well. It varies for a number of players when they are freshmen. As Ross gets deep inside, makes it 14-9. But how long do you usually see a freshman make that transition to get over those initial freshman walls that you talk about? It's really a matter of experience. The fact that she will play as a freshman and play quite a bit is just going to help her first and foremost, because getting this kind of experience against beyond the AAU basketball level is what's going to make her more than an AAU 3-level scorer. Terrific work coming over the top of that screen, draws an offensive foul. When it's a point guard, and you've watched her in practice, what has impressed you most
that maybe shows you, wow, she's more advanced than usual freshman? And which areas would you want addressed most initially if you're Gavin Peterson?
Well, actually, the interesting thing is that just what Gavin needs her to improve on shows up in practice, and then also shows what she's capable of, because she just sort of disappears, doesn't do a lot. You wonder what she really is going to bring to the table, and then she'll just explode. She'll give you a really great drive to the rim and have a little bit of off balance, even floater. And that's something they don't have and they really need.
Great hustle by Wilson on the loose ball. Scores it to make it 14-11. And one thing he said about L.A. Sneen, she absorbs information quickly. I feel like she's a quick learner. As a three from Jomstead is up and good. The four-star recruit from the Sooner State has made it 17-11.
There we go. She gets the POB set for her. Just gets a little space before she even has to use it, and does what she's going to do best for this team.
Second three-point knockdown for the Utes. They'll get the ball back once again. The interesting thing about Utah defensively last year was how often they were able to draw charges and also illegal screens that helped rack up the foul count, but then also it helped them obviously get takeaways. It was something they prided themselves on defensively a year ago. Here's a three ball on the way and no good from Cameron Mafua. Back inside, Mafua left that short. Nice rebound by Wilson.
I love the offensive guards down there playing defensive rebound down. What has made this team a great rebounding team, I think, in the past is how good their guards have been in rebounding down. And I hope to see that happens with this new squad.
Rolling to the rim quickly was Lonnie White, and a foul is called.
It's good aggression. I love to see her taking it to the rim. That's all that matters.
An offensive foul on White. Well, they are excited to have her back.
Absolutely. And you know, LA does a nice job of pitching it to her in time to take that in transition and put her shoulder down. It's all right.
She talked about how valuable the experience was for her there at Virginia Tech, playing as often as she did, having the impact that she did. Now she's ready to help that transfer over to what she's going to do here at Utah. Jomstead on the move. Utah up by 6. As we approach 2 minutes left in this first quarter. L.A. Sneed drives left, kicks it out. Jomstead at corner three. It's short. And a loose ball foul rebound is going to be called against Sioux Falls.
It's a good example again of LA. She got herself down near the rim. They had to help. It's a good feed out, and that's how Utah is going to get a lot of three-point opportunities. I think transition, they're committed to that. They're committed to penetration, taking advantage of people who overhelp.
Sam Crisp at the free throw line to shoot soon. Well, the bigs are going to have a huge responsibility for this team. In the work that you've watched with Utah in their front court, and if you're Gavin Peterson, what would be at the top of your list on that yellow notepad of what you would want addressed from the bigs on this group?
Well, first of all, you do have to have guards that are going to work hard to get touches for their bigs. And we've already seen that to start in the first quarter. So I'm happy to see that. I'm sure Gavin is as well. There's been good post touches, and that's how they're going to not only feel like they have the green light to go to work when they need to, but then you can play the in-out game.
And a foul away from the ball. Is this going to go against Voller? Boy, Sam Crisp on both ends there, creating challenges for the opposition with her physicality, the ability to come over a screen, use the appropriate amount of space to put a hand up on a jump shooter, and then running down the floor creates havoc and earns a trip to the line.
She takes great pride in rim running, and we see that. It puts an amazing amount of pressure on any team defensively when you have a big who is not afraid and who is willing to run rim to rim.
Hits both free throws. The lead is out to 9. And some pressure from Utah's defense. Sioux Falls has been able to get some nice looks from the outside. They're 1 of 5 from deep. Kayla Brown was outside to Minsauce. Eventually go into the paint Hyenga undersized in that matchup, a deflection and a takeaway for the Utes.
Sam Crisp gets her hands on that post move on the floor, and they get the takeaway.
5 turnovers so far for Sioux Falls in this first quarter. Sneed with a nice move, but couldn't quite finish. A post-entry pass. Great defense once again by Crisp, and leaving it off the front end of the rim, Wadsworth. But that face-up game is a good thing for Wadsworth.
It is.
The size of Crisp creates a problem for a number of players. Nice deep catch and a finish by Mathor.
You're right about the size. Wadsworth's going to have a little bit tougher time just because of the size difference.
Now, Wadsworth able to get Crisp off of her feet, creates a shot opportunity but missed. Deep 3 on the way from Rose. That's off right. Utah with an 8-0 run. Sioux Falls 0 of their last 7.
I think Wadsworth moving out to the three-point line is one of Coach's desires as well, and that's because of the size differential. She'll be better off in a little more spread floor.
First quarter comes to an end. Utah up by 11. As we're here at the Huntsman Center, opening day of women's.
A fun kid to just watch her physical presence.
A turnover starts the second quarter. Coach, what did you like in that first quarter for Utah?
You know, I did like their flow for this early in the season. I like to see post touches because so much can go around it, and I think that they have paid attention to that as well. I think Gavin probably wants them to push tempo maybe a little bit more on misses, because this is a really big part of their offense, and getting and shooting and hurting people from 3 in transition needs to be a real strength of theirs. And certainly, you know, Sioux Falls has had some open looks from 3. I think that the misses are a little bit more because they're probably nervous than they were well-contested shots. So, you know, I might be talking to the kids about that defensively too.
Foul on Reese Ross. And stepping on the line, but no backcourt violation there for Brown. And she gets it back in the corner. Post-entry pass, Wadsworth. Pinned by Otto. Shot clock under 5. Mensah heads over to the right side. It goes to Traphagen, and a shot clock violation.
Love that defensive intensity. You know, I do see them really moving well off the ball, and I think that was one of the weaknesses coming into the start. Brooke ends this effort with almost a steal through a layup, so I can't say anything except for good job in terms of the energy and the effort.
Grace Foster in the game for Utah. She appeared in 6 games last year. And let's not forget, the young lady from Perth, Australia, was the Female Athlete of the Year in 2022. In the NBL 1, she was the Rookie of the Year.
Gavin has mentioned that she really does have a chance with some game time this year to help them, give them some depth off the bench.
The Player of the Year in 21. She was also a champion in that 21 season as well. Whenever a player misses so much time and they make their way back out there, what are the things you're looking for early with Grace Foster?
You know, there's so much to respect about these kids that come off injuries and have to spend so much time rehabbing and sort of being anything but in the mix of a lot of pieces of the team. So just getting her chances to get back in the flow with her teammates is really a key for this group and the depth that they're going to have throughout the rest of the season.
Utah with a couple of great looks, but 0 for 2 on that trip. The Utes up by 11. And you mentioned players coming off of an injury. It's like it's a different type of being a competitor because you have to win the day in a different way than you ever have.
Right, and I don't know if you right there, I got to say, I love their defense on the POB because that's a great protect position by Evelina. She ends up staying on the ball. She stays down stance, and she's got great active hands, and she gets the touch and the steal. So you can't ask anything more from where you want your position on a POB defense.
Otto, deep inside, gets it to go. It's 24 to 11.
There's the finish.
Utes with their biggest lead of the day. In the corner for three, an air ball from Ayla Brown. And Sioux Falls now 1 for 7 from deep. Reese Ross puts it on the deck, leaves it off for Otto, who rolls to the rim, and she's having a fine first half.
They do need a lot of finishes when you can get the ball in that tie. I think Evelina started a little slow at the rim, but she looks now like she's playing a little bit stronger and getting the finishes around the basket.
Strong drive to the hoop, nice take, Anna Voller.
Very nice drive and a very nice finish by Voller. Scoring.
Utah up 26-13 here in this second quarter. Reese Ross on the baseline. It's out of bounds to Sioux Falls. You mentioned a lot before the season. Defensively, you were curious what Utah would be. What are your thoughts with the way the roster is set up and what your expectations would be from a number of players?
Well, they really had a huge defensive loss when Jenna Johnson, graduated. She kind of did the defensive things that people don't notice other than taking charges, which she did better than anyone in the country. She was just always the help defender, always in the right place, always in the right rotations, always stopping people at the rim. She was that secondary defender covering everybody else from what might be happening on the floor. And I'm going to be looking for who can do that for them this season and hopefully fill that role.
And to your point, she had a stretch of games where she didn't shoot well from three, but still helped winning in so many areas. And then eventually the three-point shot came back.
It really is something that people probably don't see a lot of, and that is coaches understand what one player is doing to help teams win that it doesn't show up in the score box. We had one of those kids when we played with our first Sweet 16 team. She's averaged 9 points per game and was the conference player of the year. And that's because coaches understand that what she did everywhere else on the floor made us the team we were.
Well, it's interesting you say that too. One thing I'd be curious to see with a young team is, can you still defend at a high level when the ball is not going in the basket?
Well, it really is a challenge, and actually it's one of the things that Gavin's talked about, is trying to teach his team not to be front runners so they can, in fact, make the adjustments and keep the energy up when it's not easy.
What a great sign there. Grace Foster knocks down a three.
Oh, it's a great shot. Great to see her do that, because she really can contribute immensely this season if we can just get her on the floor.
Nice deflection defensively to go with it as well. Back-to-back threes for the Utes. Now Brooke Walker in that corner.
Attack the rim, kick it out, off the POB, catch and shoot. You got a lot of ways to score.
So Grace Foster will sit down. Utah with their biggest lead now is 17. L.A. Sneed drives into the paint. Helps him Mafua, who's going to drive it. Has it poked away and stolen. Nice defense by Murtaugh. And on the other end, an offensive foul.
There you go. Good to see from Utah. One of the things I thought, Sioux Falls had a wonderful outlet. That gal is going straight down. Lanny makes sure that she's in rim protect. Keeps the layup from happening.
Now, one thing that carried over, what Utah did defensively last year, they were not afraid to take a charge, and some of them were vicious. They stood in there. When you're a team that will stand in there and take a charge like that, what kind of ripple effect does that have on the mentality of your group, especially as you're trying to be one of those top-level committed teams on the defensive end?
Well, it is a serious energy boost. There's no way that you can't come back from that, go help your teammate get up off the floor. It brings the kids together after a great play. Those are things that they're going to need at the next level.
Sneed with a nice drive. The reverse is left off, but cleaning it up, Samantha Crisp.
Great follow by Sam.
Now the bigs for Utah, their energy and activity away from the ball has been tremendous, and it's resulted in great production so far in this game. Crisp with 5 points, Otto with 7 points. Timeout.
The three-point shooting team gets led in scoring by their post. What's happening at Utah?
Well, the Cougars want a timeout here. If you're Gavin Peterson, some good things happening. How do you make sure that that pedal stays down?
I don't think he has to worry, honestly. He'll be more responsive to them if they don't than worry about them not. In that, I see that energy. I see the follow-ups. I see the kids getting to the rim. I see putbacks at the glass. I see the energy plays on defense. So I think he's going to be really happy about that.
If you're Travis Traphagen, it's the most important thing you want to address during this timeout.
Well, you know, I think that he is interested in his club growing and becoming better, knowing that they're undersized, knowing that they're up a level in competition. And I think for him, you know, if he's going to take each quarter separately, he's going to take that first one and kind of say, look, we're within 10, and that's not a bad thing for us. And the second quarter the same way. So he's going to stay positive.
Utah up by 19. White gives it back to Mafua. Turns and scores. Cameron Mafua, ranked 52 on the ESPN 100, the transfer from Cal Berkeley.
With a bump, she finishes, and that is so necessary if you're going to get real production out of your bigs.
Three-point shot is good from Landry Wilson.
Nice
Smooth
shot.
on that Jerry.
Nice shot.
Utah has hit 6 of their last 8 from the field. Jumstead almost makes it 7 out of 9. The O-board comes down to White. Outside to Sneed. 3-ball, too far. And the O-board, Jumstead gets her own. Grabs it back. No call on the loose ball. And it's fought for on the deck. And grabbed by Sioux Falls, Reese Murtaugh. The Utes last year had some landmark victories, including beating number 3 Notre Dame. That was a head-turning moment for Gavin Peterson and his crew. It happened shortly after he took over as head coach. And one for White. Welcome back, Lonnie White.
Good to have you, Lonnie White. It will be really fun to watch this gal play. No, she gets it in transition and just puts pressure on the defense by taking it to the rim. And so many good things happen. She not only finishes, she gets herself to the free throw line.
Scored in double figures 14 times last year. Shot 49% from the field, 50% from 3, and 84% at the line. Coaches will be happy with those numbers.
Nobody's going to complain about those numbers. I think that Lonnie's going to just feel more comfortable and more comfortable as this season goes. I think her three-point shooting is going to come around because she is, in fact, a great percentage three-point shooter.
Well, all 4 three-point shots that she's put up, they've been open, they've looked good, just a little long or a little short. You know, they say a good shooter, you might miss long or short, but never left or right, and that's been the case for her.
Yeah.
Now, me, I missed everywhere, but that's a different conversation.
Well, I'm going to tell you how old I am by telling you I didn't even have the three-point line when I played. So, you know, I would have scored a lot more.
My other broadcast partner, Jay Cravens, he'll tell stories that happen to be a tad inflated every now and again. I think he believes his scoring average would have been 44 a game.
Well,
I question that.
I say good for him, because you know what? None of us saw him play.
And he's glad there's no evidence. He gets to tell the story the way he wants.
Right.
39-20 Utah here in this second quarter. First game of the college basketball season. What was this time of the year like for you as a coach? Was it more nerve-wracking because there's so many things you're trying to discover?
It was all nerve-wracking, always for me. I can't say that I ever settled down.
L.A. Sneed with her first college bucket. Makes it 41-20 Utah. One thing you've talked about a lot is finding the joy in everything that happens. The season is going to be a process for Utah and for Sioux Falls. What a great secondary move, but unable to get that ball to go down. Wadsworth.
I really do like what Wadsworth can do. I just think she could be an All-American in Division II this year, and we can see the definite pressure she can put on people from different places on the floor. And when you have a scorer like that, you really have somebody that you can go to.
What an outstanding skill set in the post, a variety of moves. Maddie Wilkie from the corner, no. Crisp, the O-board. Wilkie baseline drive, tries to go out to Jelmstad. It's knocked out of bounds.
think she missed LA on that one in the corner. Passed her up, but thankfully, only a touch, not a steal.
Utah shooting 46% from the field so far, 4 of 16 from 3. And one big problem for Sioux Falls in this game is Utah holding 11 offensive rebounds. Sneed with the clock at 7. Jelmstead inside to Crisp, throws across the river for Wilkie. No. And Crisp comes down with a board. A dozen O-boards here in this first half. Sneed goes around to the defender, bumped and fouled. She'll go to the line. And instead of turnover, a travel on Sneed, and it'll go to the Cougars. Well, Utah's had some great looks from the outside, but just 4 for 17. The runner in the lane is up and good from Landry Wilson, a junior from Brookings, South Dakota. A lot of pride from that state, as Coach Trapphagen talked about it. And obviously Reese Ross, who has been a part of this game, a South Dakota kid, she said, boy, this game actually is personal. Played with a number of these players out there, and they feel like, especially the women's game, the talent that has been produced there, the work by so many great coaches has helped the game blossom in that state.
It really has. You know, Becky Hammond's from South Dakota. We played her during her entire career at Colorado State. She, of course, coaches the Las Vegas Aces. So I know firsthand what kind of talent comes out of there.
Yeah, she was a fairly good player, right?
Pretty good.
Does a nice job as a coach.
Absolutely. It was fun. She was a fun kid to coach against. She and my best player sort of had a 4-year good feud in terms of competitiveness, but became very good friends. So it's basketball can be a nice thing through.
How much have you enjoyed that in your career, where just good, healthy rivalries, competitive rivalries, where you know you want to compete against them, you want to beat them, but there's such a high level of respect?
You really do want those kind, and you find many of them. There are some that get ugly, and we can kind of say which ones those might be at any given time in this state. But it's a special part of competing when they can be really share the joy of both teams, two teams just going hard at each other.
Nice shot from Alexis Rose, her first bucket of the game. And it's a 16-point deficit. Utah with a possible 2-for-1. They'll get the 2-for-1, but not the way they want it. A turnover gives the ball to the Cougars. The pass out towards the midcourt line is garnered by Vala. Utah with 4 turnovers now in the last couple of minutes. They've gone scoreless now for nearly 3 minutes. Wadsworth deep underneath. It's out of bounds with 10.
Cougars ball.
Well, don't forget to join us coming up at the half. Utah's head coach Gavin Peterson is entering his first full season leading the Utes. We sat down with him to get insight into his team and the 25 season. We'll also catch up with Gavin live for his thoughts on the first half. Plus stats and highlights all coming up at the break. Final possession of this first half. L.A. Sneed, the 5-star freshman, breaks the paint into traffic. She'll go to the line with 1.9.
She creates
hard hit there.
Great contact. Muscles through that.
She'll take an extra second.
Welcome to D1. Come on, get up quick. Don't show them the pain.
Did you ever have to give a freshman that look after their first hit and say that's what this is like?
There's a lot to teach, and that's an example even of that. I mean, as far as, what LA can give us and what she needs to just fight through all in one possession.
Well, Reese Ross talked about it a lot, just helping young players learn what it takes to play at the Division I level, to play in the Big 12. Utah with a nice first half, up 42-25. As they head to the locker room. What a great first. That were going to be really tough. What were the biggest things you wanted accomplished in games like this one and in non-conference games to be sure that you were ready for that gauntlet?
Well, these games especially, you really want to see a lot of kids. You want to be sure that you're seeing them under pressure. You're using your bench. You're much more fluid with that than you'll be later on in the season. So one of the key things is to just really see personnel-wise who's going to gel and who you want on the floor in certain situations.
What were some of the things you just couldn't know until you got into live action?
Most things, I'll have
just
to
about
admit.
everything.
I
huh?
will just say that to you, because as I said, when all you're doing is playing against yourself, you're only as good as yourself. And you really have to get in there and get competing and go against some competition to see what's happening on the outside.
In all of your years of being around this program, as a coach, as Walker scores on that one, the pass coming from Reese Ross. Nice start to the second half for Utah. Which player was it that looked like one thing in practice and then was mesmerizing when it came to performing in games?
One of my players?
Yeah.
Wow, I should have had that one ahead of time. You always have surprises. You hope they're all good ones, and I would say that that's the case. The one player who just made the most progress in her career was Amy Ewart, a kid who came in from Canada, was on our first Sweet 16 team, who I don't know that she knew quite what to do in terms of a pivot situation, but she was a great athlete, and we just thought there was something there. And she was the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year by her senior year. And that was just the chance to play. It was just the chance to grow. And I think that's what happens in this program with Gavin's kids, with Utah players. He needs to find that group and gel, get them to stay in this day and age, get them to improve, and you hope for a lot of surprises in building your program that way.
Coach Peterson was very happy with the collective attitude from his group. Feels like whether things are going well or not well, throughout their practices, the attitude has remained the same. And he feels like that is nothing but a good thing going forward.
That is really great to hear, because I know that he wants that. He knows how important the joy of the game is, and the attitude and energies that these kids bring to each other is for their ultimate success.
46-26 here in the second half. Sioux Falls Cougars and the Utah Utes. This is game one of a Huntsman Center doubleheader here this morning, and then coming up later on tonight, nice turnaround jumper by Landry Wilson.
That is nice in the post, and she has a little advantage there on Maddie. And Maddie did the right thing, stayed off the foul, just played over you, through you, lived to play the next play.
Turnover by the Utes, collected by Ayla Brown, 5'6" junior from Becker, Minnesota. Yet to score in this game so far, but they have big expectations for her in 2025. Nice cut, nice feed, but unable to finish was on Avala.
Yeah, that hurts when you can't finish those. You need to take advantage of those defensive breakdowns, as we saw that Utah did not get the help they needed. They didn't get either a switch or even somebody off the backside coming across.
Lonnie White scores to send us to a timeout. 7:03 left to play here in the third. Utes up by 20 here at the Hunt. This program has prided itself on big-time success. A 10-second call out of the timeout. But a standard that is set. Gavin Peterson, he welcomes that. He wants that high bar to be there after those who came before him, including my color analyst, Elaine Elliott.
Well, he has done that, and it's really been nice. He's really reached out, to be honest with you, and has really involved myself, our alumni, at a level that has been better than before. He really loves what this program has done. He loves that there's a history. He doesn't shy away from the stress of being a part of that program and go up there and beyond. He's just a great match. That's what's really happening. He is a great match for this program because he believes, he knows who Utah is. He follows those parameters in getting kids that fit, and he develops them into the program and into the winners that these kids will become.
He's everything you want in a head coach. He's humble, he's hungry, he's honest. He knows what he knows, but he is always learning something.
All of those things are absolutely true. And he put in his time. He learned. He's so loyal to the coaches that he's worked for. I'm going to shout out to my own coach that followed the same kind of sphere here that Gavin has, and that's Joe Legursky, who was with me for 15 years before he got his chance, and then hit the big time and just has done a great job. And Gavin is just he has just hit the ground running, and he's going to be a great coach for this program.
Anna Voller there at the free throw line at this moment. See Gavin Peterson with the conversation with Maddie Wilkie. The trust that he puts in his team, but also emotional trust and that trust-based influence overall. You tell it matters to him more than anything.
It does. He pays attention to developing a team beyond what you see on the floor. The kind of work that they do to learn about each other, to learn to care about each other, and what that does to actually form the bonds that are necessary to trust each other in a competitive setting.
Ross on the drive. She's fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line. Reese Ross, you've talked about her. How often this season when this team needs a bucket, they may need her to take control of the situation. She's done that a few times today.
She does, and I like to see she truly is a three-point threat in as far as getting to the rim. She's not afraid to take the hit, and she is slight of frame. She's not a strong kid. What she is a very passionate kid and somebody who wants to make a difference and who wants to really drive things emotionally, and she shows that in the way she plays.
Perhaps with Utah's team last year, the box score failed to tell the truth with two players. Ines Vieira was one of them, and I would say Reese Ross was the other. Her impact in games, I don't think really was measured well with the box score.
I think that's true. And in that play, you saw how her length at the front of that press and her agility with that size makes her a nice point player for the kind of pressure that they've wanted to show this season a little bit.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I always felt like her shot looked better than a 31% three-point shoot.
That's probably true. I think that with more time and with a more expanded role, going from that freshman to sophomore year, you'll probably see that percentage improve.
Grabs another rebound. Here's L.A. Sneed. Over to White. Goes to the hands of Reese Ross. Jumstead straight away to Chris. Move it around the perimeter on this possession. Utah up by 23. Jumstead short on that jumper. Long rebound chased down by Minzas. There's an open look on the right angle. And it's wide to the left coming from Voller. White comes down with the rebound.
You know, I think Avery's she's gonna find her footing with her shooting. She's too pure not to. I think most of it is just her pre-shot prep. And, you know, we'll see how that goes with time.
Ross trying to feed inside for Chris. Too far to the inside and out of bounds. When you were working with new players to your program, whether they were young or not, just as they get more involved, how long did you feel like it took collectively for them to go from thinking so often to just simply reacting, where the subconscious mind takes over?
You know, it really is a process. They're going to look better, and they're going to retreat a little, and they're going to look better and retreat a little. So never one thing, but definitely a process.
Utes by 23 as we go to the timeout.
You know, their points in the paint has been a highlight for sure. Their rebounding, you would expect, and they have done that significantly well. Turnovers, you know, we'll work on those.
Coach Traphagen has to be pleased about the fact that they have not given up an offensive rebound here in this third quarter. I know that would be an emphasis for him there at the half.
Well, indeed, I think he was talking about what they were what success would look like to him. And to be honest with you, their quarter-by-quarter comparison of what they wanted to achieve score-wise and is just on mark. And I think from his perspective, I would say that he's getting what he wants to out of this game, and that's going to help them in the future.
And Wadsworth has had some nice touches deep. She's had a tough time converting, just 3 of 14, but had a really nice reverse on that last possession. She has 7 points. Utah up by 21. As Wadsworth is going to square up, put up the jump shot against Chris, but it's no good. Jumstead comes down with the board. Jumstead is a player that you're excited to see throughout the course of the year with that shot. You like her shooting ability. Now it's a matter of consistency eventually throughout the year.
Right, I really am. I don't want to be the team that, you know, the first game she goes 6 for 7 on somebody. She just has to be okay with missing. Coach Peterson has had a discussion with her. She gets timid, and anytime you're timid as a shooter, you're not doing all the things to be ready to shoot, and that shows in your shooting percentage. So again, just a place for her to continue to improve.
What a putback by Voller, but she paid the price on that one going airborne.
Indeed, that was a great putback. I hope she's all right. Looks good walking off.
Well, you love to see a player go in with this kind of effort, energy, knowing for sure there's going to be contact in some form or fashion.
Well, when you have a team that's willing to play those plays, make those plays, that's, again, we're talking about energy, we're talking about enthusiasm, we're talking about the things they can control every single game, and you want that to be at 100% in the game.
Sophomore from Andover, Minnesota. She's being attended to right now. Deep paint catch by Crisp. Maybe a little too deep, and she's bumped and fouled.
Yeah, the angle just a little off. You know, they kept the ball high for her. Yeah, just got a little too deep. Once you get deep like that, you've got to become a power player, not a finesse player.
Where you like to see that one bounce and back into the defender?
Absolutely.
L.A. Sneed. Bumped, no call. And the rebound is grabbed by Minsauce.
I still like to see her going to the rim when she has a lane, and worry about the rest of the execution as she continues to get more comfortable with the Division I game.
Sneed called for the foul as Alexis Rose was on the drive. Well, L.A. Sneed, a freshman from San Antonio, Texas, 1,000 career points, 500 career assists, averaged 20.7.2 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals a game. Every stat that was out there, she showed up well.
She does, and I think that the biggest key for her is for that game to show she has to go from an AAU game to a Division I college athletic game.
People like to complain about the AAU game, and they'll have their takes on it. But when you see a gap between what it is and what keeps them from being ultimately ready at this level, what do you see that jumps out to you most?
Well, the AAU game is good for many things. I mean, it's where these kids get their opportunities. They get a lot of great individual training. There are some great coaches out there. It's just hard to call it the best, program kind of developing experience. That's what I'm trying to say when I talk about LA making that shift. The AAU game is incredible for women. It's incredible for the opportunities, and it's a place for them to showcase.
Well, Maddie Wilkie knocks down a 3, and she's fouled on that. An exciting player to watch out there. First one out there on the floor, putting in work. And you can count on her as being one of the last to leave as well. Completes the 4-point play. And it's 56-34. Sioux Falls will reset here with a clock at 10. Rose flares out right. Nice knockdown by Foster. Wadsworth has it taken away by Wilkie.
There's the backside we're talking about defensively. Maddie is there off the backside. She's there to take whatever she needs to in terms of whether it's a pass breakup. And then they just push it, they follow up, and now you've got momentum. This is the kind of game that Coach Peterson wants to play.
Well, Mafua hits that three-pointer, that rhythm you're talking about. It is very alive and well. A corner 3 is good from Hayenga, the senior from Worthington, Minnesota. Makes it 59-37.
And that's a nice answer. That's what you want your kids to do as well. Somebody feels like they're getting hot on you. When you can come down and just answer the 3, answer a defensive stop, it just really brings your team back into contention.
Nice drive by Wilkie. Foster unable to convert. And the loose ball is grabbed by Sioux Falls. It's Minsauce. One thing with Sioux Falls, they may not have the firepower in this matchup, but they have had the fight and the focus that I think Coach Trapphagen has wanted to see.
I think he's right when he talks about the future for this team, and I think that they are going to be a force in Division II, and I think they have a chance to win their conference, and with resources matched in conference and at the D2 level, for them to be one of the best teams, Coach Trapp's just doing a great job.
That three-point shot you're talking about from Mafua. And on the other end, the answer coming from Olivia Hyenga.
I love both ends. I love to see Mafua out there, and I love to see a team that just really responds and answers back.
1 minute left here in this third quarter. Utah up by 22. Baseline pass to the corner, Maddie Wilkie. Off the mark, and the loose ball rebound. I believe a foul has been called.
Evie is a little bit over the top on that, but you know, she plays on the floor. That's her game. She's, you know, not a great leaper, but her hands are always up. She took that short drive, found her teammate in the opposite corner, and those kind of skills from your post player go a lot farther than just a post player who wants the ball and wants to score.
She is a road grader. She just moves bodies. When I watch her, she's the player you have to watch live to truly appreciate just how good she is. You see her well before, while the ball's in the air, taking the right angles. She's excellent away from the ball, with the ball obviously, but then when you watch her, wherever she is, she's dominating a space or moving somebody out of the way.
I think her stat line is always going to be way better than you think it's going to be as you watch her play.
61-37. Evelina Otto now with 11 points in this game. To go with 6 rebounds and 2 assists. Sioux Falls shooting at 31% for the game. Had a tough time taking care of it every now and again, and a scramble on the floor. A jump ball in the arrow will go to Utah.
Okay, I've got to tell number 1 Avery not to stand there and hinge over at the hip on that loose ball. I'd like to see her on the floor.
Saying a bloody nose is easy to clean up eventually.
It's a sign of pride.
You coached a number of kids who weren't afraid to dive in there head first anytime that ball was on the deck.
Well, that is what you hope for sure. It's just a sign. It's the sign that these kids will give everything in their willingness to compete.
Foster out by the timeline, and she is fouled with 0.6 seconds left on the shot clock. And the foul is on Hyenga. Will send Foster to the line. They're over the foul limit. Anytime a player is going to make a comeback the way Foster has, you can't help but to root for them and their individual success to compete and help the team.
Absolutely, I really do. It's nice to see Grace back on the floor. You know, and as you see the roster on the floor now, you see what happens in these early games, trying to just give kids chances, and the kind of mishmash of players. You've got 2 freshmen, you've got a returning player who hasn't played for a year, you've got a transfer. It's tough to do, and it's one of the reasons why.
Opens up to this scenery of just sheer beauty. Reese said Salt Lake City reminds her a lot of that. Now, clearly they're different market sizes.
Really?
However, she said the beauty and the versatility of those 2 areas reminds her of home.
That was a really nice action with Sioux Falls. Really nice, ended up in that layup.
63-39 here at the start of the 4th quarter. Ross deep in the paint, outside Jelmstead, short but on line. And a nice job on that rebound to seal by Cammie Wadsworth. Sioux Falls doing what they can now to come into the 4th and win the 4th quarter. As Coach Trapphagen said, we're going to treat this like 4 different games. Nice 3-point shot by Alexis Rose.
Yeah, they're up right now.
Rose with 7. Jelmstead, turnaround, fade away. It's short. There's Otto. Right place, right time, all the time. Evelina Otto.
Well, when Avery takes the drive and draws help, it's really hard to keep an offensive rebounder off the glass, especially when help comes from the big. So Evelina is just, you know, she just gets herself to the rim and gets herself in position for that play.
Now they're going to send to Cammie Wadsworth. Well, she has worked so hard today. She's guarded a number of different players.
Gosh.
She's had to deal with being undersized throughout a lot of her matchups today, and hoping she's going to be okay.
Well, we do not want that to be anything that is significant. I guess I hoped it would be maybe a little sprain. I think she maybe grabbed her knee, but we'll have to see how she's done, because that is somebody who really has a great year ahead of her.
And you can see such a great toolkit with her out there on the floor. Face-up game, all the different moves that she has in the paint.
Yeah, I love post players that can back pivot into a little shot like that in the short corner and play with their back to the basket, because that makes them very difficult to defend.
And in matchups like this one, anytime you play Division I teams, you're likely to be undersized in those matchups. And she's brought her lunch pail today. She's been working hard, playing physical. And tough to see her leave the game here at this moment. Hopefully she's going to be all right.
I like Sioux Falls guards too, in terms of their ability to just kind of handle a bigger guard on them, a little more pressure than they're maybe used to seeing. They've done a nice job.
Nice move by Langanger.
Yeah.
And Longauger, excuse me, with a nice turnaround, 65-44. Jumpstead, another nice look, and knocks it down. This is a player that, when she has space, she needs to shoot.
Well, and she is a little timid as far as if it's not going down. You know, and she has struggled earlier in the game, but you just see that point in time, probably Gavin talked to her, because if she's going one for something, she kind of doesn't want to shoot anymore. And Gavin has said he doesn't care if she goes 1 for 20. He wants her ready to go, ready to shoot. It was nice to see that one go down. That will make her feel better the next attempt.
Boy, Longauger's been mixing it up in the paint there. If she's in the trees, it doesn't matter to her. She's coming in there with a ton of physicality.
Indeed, she's a young player, and I really think that she probably is going to be a real key for them this season.
And so for Sioux Falls, it's now a 9-5 start in this fourth quarter. Lonnie White will go to the free throw line.
That's a good tempo for Utah. Get it in, get it up. Brooke looks ahead, gives Lonnie that half step to take an angle to the rim, and there she is at the free throw line. So that's just a pace that Coach Gavin really wants them to play at consistently, and that is many times in the hands of the point guard.
Lonnie White, we talked about her ability to shoot free throws. Incredibly athletic. Her shot has looked great, whether or not it's gone down. 2 for 7 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. But as you mentioned, more times than not, if she gets those kinds of looks, she's going to have a good day.
She will. Those numbers will all improve as all of them begin to get comfortable. Their three-point shooting will come around just fine.
And big smiles from her when she talked about being back with this program, being with Gavin Peterson, being with Maddie Wilkie, and the kind of leadership that they have with this group. She understands, with a mixture of veterans and young players, there's a big responsibility for someone like her to help lead the way.
And she really has stepped up. I have heard many things about her leadership in the locker room. She is the one who comes up and starts conversations, and not just with people that she maybe has a comfort zone with.
Active hands defensively. And Sioux Falls able to break that trap, and a 3 ball is good from Alexis Rose. And Rose now with 10 points this morning.
And that is a nice pass by Longager. Post player outside, up high, just passes over the top and finds the backside shooter. That's not easy to do as a post.
White reaching underneath, almost finished that, but does earn another trip to the line. Back to Evelina Otto. I know you've had a lot to say about her. One of the stats that won't show up is her ability to set screens and open up space.
Absolutely. She's an important POB player for them because of that. The size, even the mobility to be able to get out, be out, stay strong on the screen, be sure that it's legal, it's still effective. And then you've got her on that hard roll, and you've got the ball driving to the rim, and all the options are really a key part of what Utah tries to do offensively.
Well, with her international play and the experience she has, she seems to have great timing and great angles with those screens, time and time again.
She does. She has a nice presence, just a calming effect.
Short on the second free throw. Collecting the rebound, but earning the tie-up was Otto. And the possession arrow will go to Utah. Another one of those little things, a hidden takeaway, if you will, from Evelina Otto. Utah up 71-49. Game 1 of this 25-26 season. Deep in the paint, Otto left it short. And another trip to the line for Utah.
Another great example of the big operating up top, then getting down into the post from an out position, which is difficult to defend. And they do a nice throwback, and they gain that great angle for the post feed.
You mentioned something well before this game when you and I had a conversation. Finding the joy in what you do. When you look back at your coaching career, how hard was it to do that with so much pressure, game in, game out, the high expectations, and what this profession, puts in front of you?
Yeah, I have to be honest and say that I was not a premier coach in that regard. I got worse. I don't think I got better. So I think, they're probably a lot more practiced and seasoned in doing just what they're teaching. I was teaching one thing and doing another.
When you evaluate and look back, was there something that you think would have been easier to enjoy that you didn't?
Yeah, I would have liked to have enjoyed winning more.
Because you did that a lot. Jumstead, it's another 3. But it always felt like next thing.
Yeah.
Did you almost feel guilty when you enjoyed something like that? Because
you're just on to the next prep because, winning is your job. So you don't celebrate it. I did not. I hope all others do. I did not celebrate that enough. And in retrospect, I would be better at that.
Because coaches now will say, let's take, whether it be an hour, or depending on how long you have, maybe 24 hours to just enjoy competing, winning, and doing what you love.
Honestly, I had assistant coaches that were great for me, and they would literally just say, look, you go, your friends are here. This was like an NCAA game. Go have dinner. We will get all of the things broken down. We will all have it for you. You just go. You take 2 hours with your family and friends, and we'll see you. We'll meet up with you tonight at 10. We'll have it all set up for you. And I needed that to be, I didn't, I wouldn't choose to do that on my own. There'd be some sort of guilt associated with, not me being there, making these, getting the scouts ready, or when I had these staffs that were great and they helped me understand that.
One thing about being a head coach that people would never really understand how difficult it is to manage a staff, build a staff, manage a staff. As Gavin Peterson goes into this season, especially with what he had last year, what are the things that you like from him and his ability to do that?
He has a really great network, so when he is looking for coaches and he does find his coaches, I think he's done all the work necessary to know that they are really going to be a complement for him in all those areas, not only in their area of expertise, but just in who they are, what their values are, and what they're going to portray to the team in that regard.
Nice dump off, but Longogger unable to finish. Utah with the ball. 6 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. And nice dive to get a deflection by Voller. And the jump ball will go to Sioux Falls. Boy, this Sioux Falls Cougar team, you wouldn't know that they're down by 23 with how hard they hustle and the type of fight that they play with.
Absolutely. They were back. That was a pass into traffic that really just puts her big at the rim in trouble, and that's exactly what happened. So LA will learn about that. She will get better with that because she can make that pass. She can put it on the money. It just wasn't the time for it.
Trapphagen with 301 wins with this program. Has established a great culture there. Pull-up jumper is good from Anna Voller. And now it's an 18-13 deficit in the fourth quarter. As Trapphagen said, we just treat them as 4 different games. They're winning the fourth. A bump and a foul here from Anna Frank.
Absolutely. Coach Trapp has to be very happy. They look very good in the fourth. Their energy has not waned at all, and it shows. And I think that for Utah, again, so many players coming in and out is a little bit hard to find the flow. But I would like to see them match that energy.
Cross-court pass is deflected. Longogger has been everywhere in the time that she's been out there on the floor. Deflections. Nice loose balls to go with it. A bucket on top of that. Driving the baseline foul.
She's the transfer for them that is, new. Has been an All-American at the level, I think, JC that she came from. So I thought she might be this good, and she's shown that she is.
8 points so far for her. 76-55 the score. Off the curl with the catch, the jumper is no good from Voller. L.A. Sneed backs it up. Just over 5 minutes left here in regulation. The post-entry pass goes to Mafua. A foul from Ayla Brown as she was undersized in that matchup with Mafua.
Well, Brown did just what you want her to do. She just muscled her. She just said, not on me. I'll push you up higher. It doesn't matter that I'm shorter. And that's what you do. That's how you compete against a mismatch like that. And it's a good sign for Sioux Falls.
Cameron Mafua, sophomore from Folsom, California. Hits the first of two. Utah 19 for 23 at the line so far in this game. Shooting just 30% from three. He's doing a nice job of turning defense into offense. They've been great with their bench, 31 points. And they're winning in the paint 34-18.
All very good signs. I'm sure Coach Gavin is liking those numbers.
Longogger just a little long on that one. Utah dominating on the boards 43-22. Crisp called up out of three, instead goes to Sneed. Will now set up the screen for her. Mafua, quick trigger three, little long. Crisp comes down with the O board. A new shot clock at 20. And here's an open three from Foster. It's short, tapped around, the rebound is loose. And it's grabbed by Minsas.
I would like to see the Utah squad on the floor now do just a little bit more getting Maddie involved as the leader of that group out on the floor.
Utah by 23 in the fourth.
At the Farmer's Dog.
The upcoming schedule for Utah. What do you see here? Especially that month of November. It's a little bit tougher than what they have here today.
I do think that's a true statement. Things are going to get tougher. At Utah State, it's an in-state game, so I don't know yet what to expect from Utah State, but that's not a good place to play. It's hard. They're home with Utah Valley, then they've got Big Ten schools, and they've got UConn, so it's going to get tough.
So weird to look at that Washington game and remember it's not a conference game.
It's true, and it's not a Pac-10 school, which almost came out of my mouth as well.
Utah in control here in the fourth quarter, and the kiddos have been bringing the noise all day long. Great energy all the way around. Both teams and from all fans out there. How much fun was something like this when you had the kids game and it was a different kind of energy? Jalbstead hits another three, her third.
There she's coming on, keeping it up, keep shooting. That's what you do. Pretty soon, it's going to go in.
Make that her fourth three-pointer. 4 of 9 from deep with 12 points. Utah's up 81-57 now. There goes Otto. Turns off the glass and no good. And I believe they called an offensive foul as she was turning in.
Yeah, she had that pivot back, and honestly, the defender did a really nice job of anticipating that, jumping the left shoulder a little bit, took that angle away.
Just over 3 minutes left to play. Sioux Falls, as you mentioned before, is a team that'll be in or barely outside of the top 25 throughout their entire season. Young, but very experienced. And high expectations in terms of what they'll do in conference play.
I think that's true, and I can see that. I mean, I just think they've had a great fourth quarter, and they have used this with the energy needed to compete at their level, at the highest level in Division II. I'd love to kind of see how they do the rest of the year.
Mapua swatting that ball out of bounds. Turning to the inside, but leaving it short on that play was Vala. L.A. Sneed. Way to Walker. There goes Mafua with some post moves. Off the glass, too strong. And the O-board grabbed by Walker. Here comes Sneed on the crossover, slicing inside. But couldn't finish it. And you can see all those moves that she has in that game.
It's true, and she does get just, it's like she's just getting there, you know? You can see that it's something that the adjustments will have to be made, the different size when she gets to the rim that is going to challenge her for the finish. Those things will begin to come, but the fact that she has that part of her game is going to be an important addition, I think, to the squad.
Reese Murtaugh, the freshman from La Vista, Nebraska. Murtaugh with the first free throw attempt of the game, and it's short. Sioux Falls winning the fourth quarter 20-18. And a split trip here for Reese Murtaugh. Well, that Big 12 season is going to be fun, as it always is, both in men's and women's. And last year, insanely deep with both the men's and women's game. Walker with a pull-up jumper, that's good.
And a bit of an unusual shot to see Utah taking, but I know Brooke is one of the ones that's going to play that mid-range game. So I think that's a pretty good, it's a pretty good look at what she can do as well.
Jomstead earns that trip to the free throw line. Every make she's had so far today has been a three-pointer. Avery Jomstead, who is also a track star and state champion. She was ranked 49th in the ESPN 100. Comes from Edmond, Oklahoma. (85-58) Utah, with under 2 minutes left to play here in regulation. Murtaugh gives it off to Coleman. Coleman turns to the left, cut off by Jomstead, and then Jomstead goes to the corner to cut off Harp. Great team defense here on this possession. The extra pass all the way to the corner, clock winding down on the drive, and beating the buzzer and fouled on the play was Brooklyn Harp. As you hate to see that. On the end of the bench, Cammie Wadsworth with ice on the knee and the crutches to go with it.
No, I do not like to see that, and I do wish her well, and I hope that is not anything that will leave her off the floor very long. She's just a really fine player, and we don't want to see those kids miss their opportunities to play.
Yeah, she was really enjoyable to watch here today.
Absolutely.
And if you're Coach Peterson, you want an opponent that will really push you and compete and have that kind of toughness that Wadsworth had. And if you're Coach Traphagen, you really love the type of fight that she showed throughout the course of the day. Whether or not the ball was going in the basket, she never changed who she was.
Yes, I think she will probably be an All-American. That's why we hope that she comes back and has a good season after this. We don't want to see anything happen like that.
One minute left here in regulation. L.A. Sneed with the jab step. Now backs it up. Here's Blank for a right angle three. It's money. And the former Olympus high star has put Utah up by 28. And a foul by Blank on the other end. Well, this is game 1 of 2 for a Huntsman Center doubleheader. Stick around for Alex Jensen and the Utes to open up their season against San Jose State, 7 p.m. right here on ESPN+. And talk about the success those Utah teams had with Alex Jensen and the runs deep into the NCAA tournament. You know about their runner-up finish in 1998, Elite 8 in 97. Well, let's not forget there was a ton of winning happening in the Huntsman Center no matter what Utah team was playing, and that included your teams who made runs into the tournament and dominated. This place was nearly impossible for opponents to win.
That was a really fun time. Both programs were just really doing well on the national level. I remember the newspapers, local newspapers, and how their headlines were developing, and it sort of then was this contest, like, well, the men are 13-0 and the women are 14-0, and who's going to win, who's going to lose first, and so it's so great to have Alex back. This community is so excited, and I always wish him all the luck in the world.
It was amazing. Your teams would have 1, maybe 2 losses in conference play. It was always a surprise, but it was a really rare sight to see them lose in this building. Blank. No good on that corner 3. It had to be so contagious to be here day in, day out with so much winning that was going on.
It was really
all
good.
Those programs.
You know, the two teams just really liked each other too during that span, meaning the guys were dating the girls, and you know, and some of them got married, and it was a really kind of special thing.
Game 1 in the books. Utah, a dominant 88-62 victory over Sioux Falls. Gavin Peterson and the Utes 1-0. And